Hello folks, I truly hope you're keeping safe in this hard time of the pandemic. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Princy Bharadwaj. I am the chair for ASDA District 2 Advanced Standing Committee. I want to welcome each one of you on our first initiative, which is a video presentation on how to apply for the Advanced Standing program at Columbia University College of Dental Medicine. To give you a brief flashback, we created a Google questionnaire form that was shared on social media pages addressing international dentists, followed by which we received tons of questions regarding the application process at Columbia Dental, and this presentation is on answering to your queries. Having said that, I also want to thank each one of you who took out time to ask us questions. Our outreach was wonderful. We had about 17,000 users accessing our page alongside 75 shares on social media. I don't want to keep you waiting anymore, but just want to give you a heads up. This video consists of 4 parts. The first is the introduction that I'm already giving you guys, followed by 2 associates who will be taking their set of questions and answering them for you. Ended by the 4th part, I will be taking some questions, answering them, and concluded by an inspiring thank you note. So let's get started. Good luck.
My name is Shreya Sood and I'm a rising T4 at Columbia Dental. Over the next few minutes, three of us are going to try and answer all your questions to the best of our ability, and I hope you take something out of it. Work experience in the United States is extremely important, and I ended up doing a lot of dental assisting. I did get involved with research at a university, and lots of volunteering. I volunteered at Children's Hospital for 2 years, and something that I believe that really helped me stand out or helped me gain a lot of experience personally and professionally was a few mission trips that I did with Global Brigades. That's something that you guys can check out. Maybe once the pandemic is over, maybe that's something that you can look at. That really helped me stand out, helped me gain a lot of experience. And there are other organizations like Medical Teams International or Doctors Without Borders that you could look at, and trust me, it's a great experience. So what I strongly believe is that Columbia looks for an all-rounder. So it's okay if you don't have like research, or it's okay if you don't have a master's degree. I think that as long as you show that you have overall all-rounded experience and interests, I think you're good. I guess as long as you can show that you're constantly working on yourself and constantly improving, I think that's really gonna help. So try to think outside of the box and try to see what you could do differently. So a good TOEFL score is extremely important. As you know, national boards are pass or fail. They can't really assess you. So I think a good TOEFL score will definitely help you stand out. Columbia emphasizes greatly on specialization. So if you do want to specialize, make sure you bring it up either in your application, but if you've already sent it, if you get selected for the interview, make sure you mention that in the interview that you are interested in specialization and that's why you want to come to Columbia. Well, I did not have either, and I know a lot of my classmates did not. We do have an endodontist, we do have an orthodontist. However, it's not a must. Always an added advantage, but not a must. Well, research is always a cherry on top, and a publication just adds a lot of validation. So again, it's always an added advantage, but not a must. Research experience that I had was in the US. So if you can, try to get associated with a university. Well, preceptorship is not a must. However, again, it's an added advantage. So if you're doing a preceptorship, that's really good, and especially if you're doing a preceptorship in a university with the Advanced Standing program. Work experience in the US, I believe, is important because it just helps them understand that you've adjusted to the culture a little bit. So I guess make sure that you do have some work experience and shadowing experience in the US. Getting a letter of recommendation from a professor in a university or a faculty member from a university is outstanding. Well, the interview invites in the past have been sent out in August, and the interviews are spread over 3 days in September. I'm not sure how it's going to be this year, so please keep checking the website and keep yourself updated. Usually the interview process has interview in the morning and a bench test in the afternoon. The bench test will have a class 2 molar prep, a class 3 prep, and an all ceramic or a PFM or a gold crown. And I strongly believe, and I'm a big advocate of taking bench test courses. Good critical feedback and able to identify what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, how to fix errors is extremely important, and the only way you could do that really well is by going to these bench test courses. Take these bench test courses and remain in the top 1%. So just keep working. And I would say being able to perform well in interviews really depends on your preparation. Look for people who know what they're doing or can give you good feedback on your interviewing skills. It is important to apply early during CAPIT cycles. Please make sure you have everything ready, and so that you can click on the submit button. Well, you're an endodontist, so already an added advantage. As far as I remember, ADAT is not a mandate. It's not mandatory, so I would definitely say do apply, and people and schools are understanding of what's going on right now. So your visa status also is great. H-1Bs are accepted, so do go apply, and I wish you all the best. Well, National Boards Part 1, National Boards Part 2, get them out of the way. And then take the TOEFL. So remember that the TOEFL is valid just for 2 years, so please time it well. Get your statement of purpose and your letter of recommendations in place. The statement of purpose is extremely important because it's a wonderful way of you selling yourself, and some LORs are also extremely important. EC evaluation can be done while simultaneously, so get that out of the way as well. That's valid for 5 years for now. Attend bench test courses and keep practicing, and all of these moving pieces in place, you will be able to set your application on day 1 and send it in. Well, so from my experience and data from the last 3 years, H-1Bs, F-1s, H-4s, green cards and citizens have a lot of them have been accepted. And as far as Canadian citizens are concerned, I think you can apply as long as you are able to provide the right documentation. Well, it's a really unfortunate situation to be in. You should definitely email the admissions committee and let them know. That's the end of my session, and my colleagues will take over. Thank you and good luck, guys. Stay safe. We'll get to this. Goodbye.
I'm Juhi Shah. I'm a D2 who will soon be a D3 at Columbia. I'm an associate for ASDA Advanced Standing Committee. So to begin with, answer to all of these questions begins from the time you were a student in your dental school in your concerned country and till the time you get into a dental school in United States. It all falls in between this journey. It's about your own experiences as a student, as an intern, as an extern, as a researcher, as a master's student, or working as a dental assistant, or a hygienist, or tutor, or just shadowing. Every experience matters. It all helps you build your CV. Whether you're a fresh graduate or you're someone with a gap of 10 years from dentistry, you both would want and need the same amount of effort and proactiveness in gaining knowledge, skills, and proficiency by attending probably continuing education courses. You can gain all of those. In Colombia, education is for all, irrespective of the geographical locations and the immigration status that you might have had. I just said, to improve your CV, just add all the experiences that you've had, and it will all work wonders. Think out of the box. Does Columbia University take fresh graduates? With fresh graduates, I would also say that they prefer having someone who's had an experience. They try and build your skills as much as you can by attending continuing education courses, by shadowing, by assisting, and gain the experience that is needed. Experience is must. As long as I feel TOEFL mentions that it is from the legal status and it can be accepted, I think schools should accept it. Stronger everything. Assisting or shadowing. I was an assistant for almost 6 months to 8 months, and I shadowed before that for 2-3 months at a dental clinic, and it all worked in my favor because where I was working, he wrote me a letter of recommendation, and all the experiences matter, be it dental assisting or shadowing. Even if he or she doesn't write a letter of recommendation, I think what matters the most is the experience that is needed in order for you to survive throughout this whole process. It doesn't matter. They need a TOEFL above 100. ADAT is preferred, but as long as you have all the basic criteria checked in, I think you should be golden. ADAT, again, it doesn't really matter. If you have it, it's great, but if you don't have it, I think you need to focus on the basic criteria, part 1, part 2, TOEFL above 100, and having experience and making that CV and personal statement the best. So personal statement is something that is unique to yourself, and I think in schools like Columbia, they would want to see something unique, something different. What sets you apart from rest of the crowd? So first, I have attempts in NBT. Will I be considered? I think you should try your luck. There is nothing wrong in applying. What's the worst thing that would happen? You would get rejected, right? But what if you get accepted? What if? So just take your chances, even if your GPA is low or you have attempts, but as long as if that low score or the attempts could be sufficed by the experience you've had, then I think you should apply. I would want you guys to just visit the website, because on the website they have mentioned everything. Above all of this, let's say you've given part 1, part 2, you have a TOEFL above 100. What matters the most is, for me, it worked in my favor, was having the right attitude, having the positive attitude. Yeah, everyone is saying be positive, don't be negative, but yes, it does matter. All the best and take care.
Hello again, I hope you're having an informative session. So now we're going to wrap it up with me answering the remaining handful of questions. One of the questions was if Columbia accepts B1, B2 visas. It certainly accepts non-immigrant visas, but it does give preference to green card holders and permanent residents. Having said that, there are existing students who are on non-immigrant visas, so that should not be a problem for you to apply. You should apply. So the next question was, I applied this year, and what kind of profile do you see to be for interviews? So according to that, I will make my resume stronger. First of all, good luck that you've already applied at Columbia, and I hope you get an interview call. Columbia takes a holistic approach. It is trying to look if you're a dental enthusiast and what you've done in your past background to prove that. The part about strengthening your resume, I believe by now you would have already added all your dental experience from your past and your current. And if you have some additional experience that you've been gaining, you can definitely update your ADA Capit application, or also like update your resume and send it directly to the admission committee. But if you've added everything, I think you're good to go. So this question that I'm going to share with you is very interesting and unique. It asks that I want to know if Columbia University is clinical or research oriented. And I want to know the application process, as I'm a mom with break and not with great GPA. So Columbia is actually a combination of both. Its clinical practice is driven from the scientific research and technological advancement. So I would say if you're looking for a school that delivers on both the aspects, then I think Columbia is a school for you. And the thing about your low GPA, I would say if you can put in your personal statement as to why the GPA went low, then I think like you're being honest in your application. You could just try to pad up your resume by getting involved in more dental activities and like showing more experience. So that way you'll be able to outweigh your low GPA with other achievements, and maybe then you can like come up in the competition. So I would say just like have a strong application otherwise. Good luck. So another question is that I'm a student on F1 visa, currently working on my OPT. I have an MPH degree. Are there any chances of being invited by the school for an interview? I would say yes, you should apply. It's a beautiful profile, but make sure that you do put in your dental related experience. MPH, which is an additional master's degree, always makes your profile strong. And if you have like relevant dental experience, then I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be called for an interview. So good luck. A simple question asking me the number of seats. So far Columbia actually accepts 15 students every year. So good luck. The next question is, how is the interview? So the interview is divided into two parts. The first is like the introduction round where every applicant is coming in and introducing themselves, followed by a personal interview where the admission committee is calling you in and like asking you questions, and those questions are all pertaining to your dental experience, your ambition, and why do you want to apply at Columbia University. The second set of interview is the bench test, which is actually judging your clinical skills. One of the questions just says requirements. I would say just go down the link below, or just Google search Columbia Dental Advanced Standing Program. It literally gives you all the basic requirements. In short, it is like passage of NBD Part 1, Part 2, having a TOEFL score of above 100, and your dental experience application is through ADA Capit. So this question is inquiry on what makes your application stand out. For that, I would say that anything associated with dentistry that you've done in the past till now should be in your application. My associates have already stressed on that, and they've given you enough information by now. So I don't really have anything extra to add, just this, that make your application strong by putting in all your dental related experience and a personal statement that shows your story, like why do you want to get into dentistry, why Columbia University, and if you have your dental shadowing assisting experience, and if you meet the basic requirements of the admission, then I think like your application itself becomes super strong. Then the next question is, I'm very interested in attending CDM. However, there is a minimum requirement score of 100 on TOEFL. Is there any flexibility for this requirement, or is it not worth applying unless the minimum score is achieved? So the thing is, Columbia receives these many pool of applications, and what happens is it filters them based on the admission requirement that are mentioned on the website. So if you don't meet those requirements and other applicants do, then they get considered for the interview before you. I would not say that don't apply, it's just this, you go down in the competition. So I would say try your luck, or you could also, if you want, you could also retake TOEFL and at the same time apply at Columbia and let the admission committee know that you're retaking the TOEFL exam, and if you can get the score before the deadline, then I'm more than sure you'll be considered. So one question says that when will be the appropriate time to apply if I graduate around March in 2021, and would I have to appear for the NBD Part 1 Part 2 in order to get enrolled for the program? Also, I want to know the scope of MPH in USA. So I would say that maybe you should focus on finishing your dental school first, and after that you can explore your options. But to be answering your question, you would not be taking NBD Part 1 Part 2 because that exam has been combined into this integrated exam which is known as INBD. So in my understanding, you'll be appearing for that. And I think you should check back with the admission requirements in the year 2021. The question about MPH, I really feel that you should focus on getting your degree, and then after that you can explore your options on MPH and advanced standing program. So one question is that I was wondering if it's okay for us to not be working in the dental field right now due to the COVID, and what can we be doing to further improve our CV profiles during this time. So I believe you've already done your part, and I don't think so anyone is working in this pandemic phase. You can definitely take some Zoom webinars and CE courses, you can get them in, but if your past experience was strong enough, then you should be considered in the current round itself. So the last question was that what are the requirements and what are the expenditures. I believe by now all of you know how to apply, and we've already given you a lot of information on that. So for expenditure, I would say that you should check out the website, the university website for advanced standing program at CDM. Lastly, I truly hope this video session was informative who are interested in applying for the advanced standing program in the near future, and I hope there was a takeaway message for each one of you. And I would also like to say that please show us some love, follow us on ASTA District 2 Instagram handle and Columbia ASTA. Both of them are available on the screen right now. And really just DM us if you have some initiative on mind that you want us to do as advanced standing committee. I would love those sort of collaborations and ideas. So keep that coming, and good luck.